In the distant future, there exists a kingdom called Motherworld that was once ruled by many successive kings, with vast territories extending beyond planets. However, the king is assassinated, and the kingdom falls apart, leading to revolutions on the different planets under his rule. Then a highly ranked commander from one of the planets, Balisarius, seizes power. He claims to be a regent, even though the royal bloodline is completely severed. At the same time, many village lords rise to power. Kora, a former soldier, now lives in a small village on the moon Velt. She spends her days farming to distract herself from her traumatic past. Gunnar, a farmer who secretly admires her, often watches her from a distance. Eventually, he informs her about tonight's harvest celebration. That evening, the village leader Sindri hosts a celebration and the villagers enjoy a lively feast. While everyone is having fun, Kora quietly leaves to rest. Hagen, an acquaintance, notices and asks her why she is still not engaged. She explains that she feels she has more happiness than she deserves and cannot accept more. Kora reveals that she was taught to see love as a weakness and then leaves to sleep. The next morning, the villagers resume their daily tasks, and Kora works in the fields with a young girl named Sam, harvesting seeds. Suddenly, a large ship from Motherworld arrives and runs to ring the bell, signaling an emergency. Then Sindri gathers all the villagers to discuss their next steps before the ships land. Gunnar, who doesn't fully understand the threat they face, suggests that they should volunteer to do whatever the invaders ask, hoping for a fair return. However, Kora becomes aggressive and argues that they should not volunteer anything. She insists that the invaders are monsters who want to take everything.
We will volunteer nothing.
Sindri decides to follow Kora's advice and goes out to welcome the uninvited guests. Next, the ship sends down smaller crafts, and the commander, Atticus, steps onto the village.
Please, Father, tell me about this beautiful village.
He admires the place and tells Sindri that his army is running low on food and that they need supplies. Sindri responds that he barely has enough to feed his own people, as the land is rocky and unsuitable for farming, contrary to how it may appear. The commander offers 3 times the market value for the supplies, but Sindri refuses. At that point, Gunnar, who oversees the harvest, steps forward and suggests that they might have a surplus this year and could trade it. The commander, enraged by Sindri's lie, kills Sindri on the spot.
I said, tell me, partner, when I can expect my harvest.
He then orders Gunnar to prepare the harvest for the coming weeks. The commander leaves, but not before setting up a base camp with his soldiers to keep watch over the village. A robot soldier is also deployed to assist in guarding the town. Later, Sam watches as the robot soldier is mistreated by the soldiers. She feels sympathy for it and creates a beautiful crown out of flowers for the robot. Meanwhile, Kora decides to leave. She begins packing her belongings, convinced that death is inevitable for the villagers. But Hogan confronts her, urging her to stay and reminding her that the villagers need her now more than ever. Kora replies that even if she convinces the villagers to fight, they will all die, and it will be her fault. Determined to leave, she prepares her horse. However, her plans change when she hears Sam crying as soldiers mistreat her. One of the younger soldiers, who has shown interest in Sam since their arrival, tries to intervene but is beaten by his fellow soldiers. At that moment, Kora returns and shouts at the soldiers to stop. They mock her, assuming she is just a simple farmer. Suddenly, Kora launches a swift and fatal attack, using her combat skills to take down the soldiers. In just a few moments, she kills and injures all but one, their leader. Next, the robot soldier, who shares a special bond with Sam, arrives as the leader holds Sam hostage and hesitates to take an order from him. Then Kora shoots the leader, freeing Sam. Next, Kora addresses the villagers that they must now fight back and prepare for the coming battle. She tells them about Titus, a former great general, who could help them. Since she doesn't know where Titus is, she decides to take Gunnar with her, believing he might have information from his trade dealings with neighboring tributaries. As night falls, Gunnar and Kora stop to rest and have a deep conversation. Gunnar is weighed down with guilt, blaming himself for Sindri's death and the danger facing the village. Hoping to connect with Kora, he starts the conversation by encouraging her to open up. Kora finally admits that she was a soldier in her past. She begins to share her story, When she was 9 years old, Balisarius launched a sudden attack, and she lost everyone close to her, including her parents. For reasons she still doesn't understand, Balisarius spared her life. He took her with him and trained her to become one of his soldiers. By the age of 18, she had risen to the rank of general and led battles. However, she witnessed her boyfriend's death during one of those wars, a memory that still haunts her. The next day, they head out to meet someone who knows where Titus might be. However, they see bounty hunters capture the informant and take him to Atticus. Determined not to give up, Kora drags Gunnar to a nearby drinking den. Once inside, a stubborn man provokes a fight. Kora quickly shows her impressive combat skills, scaring him away. Afterward, Kora asks if anyone knows where Titus is. A man who appears fused with a parasitic creature provides some information about Titus's location. Just as they are about to leave, the man returns with a gun and reinforcements, starting a real fight. Kora defends herself skillfully, taking down her attackers one by one. As she faces the last man, a man named Kai steps in and kills him. Kora immediately points her gun at Kai, but he calmly pushes it aside. He offers to take them to Titus on his ship if they pay. The offer seems reasonable, so Kora and Gunnar agree to the deal. On their way, Gunnar suggests making a stop to recruit someone important for their mission. Kora agrees, knowing she needs more warriors to help defend the village. They soon arrive at a desolate location and meet with a slave owner. They express their willingness to pay the price to free a slave named Tarek, who was once a prince. But the debt Tarek owes is far too high for them to afford. Before they leave, the slave owner offers them a deal. If Tarek can ride a massive black creature which resembles a griffin, he will be freed. However, if he fails, they will all become slaves. Tarek accepts the challenge. He approaches the angry creature and calms it by speaking about his experience as a slave and the right to freedom. To everyone's surprise, Tarek successfully rides the creature, and the slave owner keeps his word, freeing him. As they prepare to leave, the slave owner foolishly attempts to ride the eagle himself. The creature throws him off and kills him. Kora, thrilled to have a skilled man like Tarek on her side, asks Kai if he knows of anyone else who could join them. Kai agrees and takes them to a planet where cobalt is mined. There they encounter Nemesis, a cyborg swordswoman who has killed many high-ranking officials. Upon their arrival, Nemesis is in the middle of a confrontation with a giant spider-like creature, trying to protect a child. Gunnar impulsively rushes to help, risking his life to bring the child to safety. Nemesis displays incredible fighting skills, combining defense and offense to defeat the creature. After the battle, she agrees to join the group, adding yet another formidable warrior to their ranks. As they travel to another planet, Kora tells Gunnar that his bravery in rescuing the child was admirable. Gunnar responds that her courage in standing up for Sam was even greater. During their conversation, Kora opens up about her past as a royal guard, tasked with protecting Princess Isa. She recounts an unforgettable moment when she witnessed Isa bring a bird back to life, an act beyond any logical explanation. Kora explains that the king believed Isa would have been a great leader, as her kindness could have ended the royal family's lust for power. Gunnar gently holds Kora's hands as if encouraging her to believe in love and hope once more. Next, the group arrives on the moon Pollux, where Titus is believed to be. They find the place bustling with activity as a massive gladiator arena. However, when they finally locate Titus, everyone except Kora thinks it must be a joke. He is lying on the ground, dirty and drunk, a shadow of his former self. Ignoring their doubts, Kora orders them to take him away and clean him up. After some time, Titus regains some of his composure, and Kora speaks to him privately. Titus, haunted by guilt, angrily rejects Kora's proposal to join the group, but she pushes him to seek redemption and revenge. He then changes his mind and joins them. Meanwhile, the team heads to King Levitica, an alien king who shelters two rebel siblings leading a rebellion. Meanwhile, bounty hunters bring the informant to Atticus, who extracts details about the siblings before paralyzing him and ordering a mind scan. Atticus then heads to Levitica's planet, Charon. Kora and her team arrive on Charon and ask King Levitica for an urgent favor. They need to meet the siblings immediately. Levitica summons the siblings, Devra and Darian, to hear them out. The siblings ask why they should help. Kora explains that the villagers from a small but peaceful land are in grave danger because Gunnar traded crops with the Motherworld, exposing their location. Hearing this, Darian steps forward and volunteers to join the fight. His sister, Devra, questions why he would leave and risk exposing himself in such a dangerous battle. Darian responds that he cannot stand by while another village is destroyed under his name. He vows to help in any way he can. He also points out that if a simple farmer like Gunnar could find them, it won't be long before Atticus does as well. Darian then calls for volunteers to join the fight. Inspired by his determination, several of his men step forward, pledging to join the cause. The group bids farewell to King Leviticus' kingdom and boards Kai's ship. As they take off, Kai tells Kora that he has decided to join their fight. For the first time in a while, Kora smiles, feeling a glimmer of hope. Kai then informs her that they need to stop at a nearby port for a trade that could help their mission, and she agrees. Meanwhile, at Leviticus' kingdom, Atticus and his troops launch an invasion. Atticus kills Levitica with his own hands, ending the kingdom in a swift and brutal attack. One of Atticus's men informs him that they have learned Darian and his group are heading to the port. Delighted by the news, Atticus immediately sets out to capture them. At the port, Kai drops off the group and starts mingling with the locals, discussing trade deals. However, Kora senses that something is wrong. Her suspicion proves correct as the group is betrayed by Kai, who reveals he has no choice as he plans to sell them. Next, Atticus arrives and is thrilled to see the captured group. He orders Kai to paralyze them for transport to the Motherworld. Kai mockingly hands Gunnar the paralyzing injection gun, taunting him to make himself useful. To everyone's surprise, Gunnar apologizes to Kora and suddenly frees her, killing Kai in the process. Chaos erupts as Kora grabs a fallen gun and starts fighting. Gunnar quickly unties the rest of the group, and an intense battle ensues right at the port. But Darian is killed after he destroys the ship that killed his pilots, avenging them by killing the pilot responsible. Next, Atticus retreats, but Kora chases him to a pavilion isolated from the port. In an intense showdown, she overpowers him and throws him off the pavilion. The group emerges victorious from the unexpected battle and returns to the village on planet Velt. Walking through the fields, they admire the beauty of their home, feeling a sense of hope despite their losses. In the aftermath, Atticus's men recover his body and use advanced technology to revive him. Through a neural link, Atticus communicates with Balisarius. Atticus informs the king that he has found his adoptive daughter Kora, who is now fighting on the enemy's side. Balisarius is torn between anger and confusion, but orders Atticus to bring Kora back alive. He declares that he will personally crucify her in front of the senators and demands the death of all her allies. Next, the procedure ends and Atticus's consciousness returns to his body. Massive electrical currents surge through him as he screams in pain and rage, driven by a newfound thirst for revenge. The end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, if you'd like to see us recap part 2, let us know in the comments.